Trying to understand English grammar is like trying to solve a mystery. English grammar is irregular, contradictory, and confusing. Fortunately, though, you don't have to walk these dark streets of grammatical confusion by yourself. I'm English teacher Paul Duke, and on this show I'll be your grammar detective. Each week, we'll investigate communication crimes and suspicious sentences, context clues and example evidence. Together, we'll solve these English mysteries once and for all. Welcome to Hard-Boiled English Live. Hello, Grammar Gumshoes, and welcome to Hard-Boiled English Live. It is December 8th, Friday, 2023. I'm your humble host, grammar detective and English instructor, Paul Duke, and I'm streaming to you live from the Hard-Boiled English studio in Vancouver, Canada, all around the world. I'm thrilled to be with you once again, so thank you for joining me. Tonight we're having a special 2-hour Christmas show, and I have two very special guests joining me. Both of these gentlemen have joined me each of the past 3 years on this year-end Christmas show, and I'm happy to welcome them once more. In the first hour, we'll welcome all the way from Brazil singer-songwriter Nic Darwin, and in the second hour, we'll welcome all the way from Australia, by way of Thailand, Mr. James Marshall and his puppets. But first, to get started, please say hello in the chat box and tell me where you're watching from, and we'll get going. I want to say a couple of things before we kick off properly here, guys, but let me just say hello to Mr. Jonas. I want to say hello to longtime viewer and friend Chris Derboven from Belgium. And we have Lila with us. Welcome, Lila. Yeah, guys, it's great to have you with us. So this will be the last live stream of the year. I'll be taking a short vacation and I'll come back in January. And in January, there'll be some big changes. One of these changes is I'm moving this live stream off of YouTube onto a dedicated platform. Now, recently I've been testing various platforms, and to be honest with you, I'm not that happy with them. So I'm undecided yet. But you will be able to find this live stream in January on my website. So my website, if I have the graphic here somewhere. Oh gosh, where is it now? Maybe I don't have it, guys. That's okay. I think you can find it quite simply. It's www.hardboiledenglish.com. Quite obvious enough. hardboiledenglish.com. You go to that website, and every week I will post the link, the private link to this live stream starting in January. So it'll be free for now, but I want you all to go through the website to find the link in the future. And subscribe to the website, connect with me on social media, and that will keep you up to date of all the changes, because there will be some changes coming. Let me just say hello to other folks here. We have with us Manly Oasis. Great to have you with us. Somebody watching on Facebook. We have Anish in Toronto. Happy holidays, Anish. Great to have you. Okay, so yeah, we've got a great show. We've got two special guests waiting in the wings. And I want to say a couple of things before we kick off. Now, as you know, this is a grammar show, and we discuss grammar topics here. And for some in the education world, grammar seems controversial. So I want to say a few words about that to wrap up our season of Hard-Boiled English Live here. I've noticed on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube over the last couple of years, there are a lot of social media English teachers that claim that you language learners do not need to study grammar. And their reason is they say native speakers like them never studied grammar when they were growing up, that they just learned grammar magically by reading and listening and being spoken to by their parents and their classmates, and they just absorbed language. The question is this true? Well, I've thought a lot about it and did some research, and the fact is, it's not true. Native speakers in a place like Canada, where I grew up, do in fact study grammar. Now, I thought about this a lot and tried to remember my grammar lessons as a child. Those memories are kind of vague because my childhood was a long time ago. But I do remember being in kindergarten and grade 1 and seeing the older kids in my school, the grade 2s and the grade 3s, the older kids, walking around school carrying books. As a kindergarten student, I didn't have books, but I loved books, and I wanted to carry around a book too because that meant I was grown up like a grade 2. When I got to grade 2, I learned what the book was that they were carrying. Turns out it was their grammar book. And in grade 2, grade 3, grade 4, even into high school or middle school at least, we studied grammar. Yes, we did it in the context of readings and listenings and conversation and compositions, but we learned grammar. We studied the rules, we had textbooks, we did exercises. So it's not entirely true that native speakers never study grammar. They do. Now, why are these teachers telling you that? Well, in my experience, a lot of English teachers are native speakers. Some are, some aren't. But I'm talking about the native English speakers here. And a lot of them are adults, of course, and they have forgotten their experiences in childhood. They've just forgotten them. And a lot of them have forgotten their grammar lessons, and they don't study them. So the result is a lot of English teachers, native speakers, are uncomfortable with grammar, are uncomfortable teaching it, they're uncomfortable explaining it, and they're uncomfortable being asked questions about it. Now that's fine. It's okay. Some teachers are better at one thing, some teachers are better at another. And I'm not trying to promote myself as a teacher. I'm actually not a grammar teacher. But what's important is the learner. And I think what happens is there's a movement in education because teachers don't want to teach grammar. They start creating justifications. They start saying we don't need it, therefore let's get it out of the curriculum. And I think that's a problem. That's one of the reasons they tell you you don't need to learn grammar. But the fact is, native speakers do study it when we're young. So it's not entirely true what they're telling you. Maybe they want to get you to pay or follow their techniques of learning English without grammar. Easier, funner. That's cool. Is it going to lead to your proficiency? That I doubt. I think we need grammar instruction, practice, and understanding in order to really use the language. Native speakers with perfect grammar did learn it when they were young. But one thing that is true is that native speakers growing up have a lot of opportunity to learn and reinforce their grammar knowledge with other ways. For example, they are surrounded by English in an English country like Canada. They're surrounded by English 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, year-round. And they hear it, they read it, they absorb it constantly. And as they learn their grammar and try it, they get feedback. They get feedback from their parents, from their friends, from their teachers. Later, they get it from their classmates. Later on, as adults, they get feedback from their colleagues. Subtle feedback, gentle feedback, indirect feedback. For example, if I use a grammar structure incorrectly, wrong, I might hear it being used correctly while watching TV and say, oh, I don't say it correctly, I should change. That's a part of the feedback loop. And all of this combines to improve their skill, their proficiency. The big difference between a native speaker and you is that you don't have time. You don't have 12 years of childhood to get your grammar knowledge and all of that absorbed practice and feedback and reinforcement. A language learner learning English for the second or third or fourth language doesn't have that time and doesn't have the surrounding exposure opportunity. You're not in an English country, maybe, so you don't have the chance to absorb all that English. So, in summary, I want you guys to be careful of social media teachers that tell you you don't need to study English because native speakers don't study English. That's not true. Native speakers do study English when they're children. And then they forget about it, and then they use it and absorb it and get feedback, even if it's indirect feedback. That's a different experience than you have if you're not in an English country and or if you're learning English later in your life. It's a very different experience. So my word of caution for you going into next year is be very, very careful about social media teachers telling you you don't need grammar instruction. If you want a high level of English proficiency, or even a decent level, an intermediate level, where people can understand you and you can understand them, you do need to study grammar. Now, there are many ways to do that, right? And I'm not promoting my show as a way to do that. What I'm saying is you have to mix in some grammar education with your practice and your listening and your reading. You have to put it all together, okay? That's what I want to see next year. I want to see you guys taking grammar seriously, not being afraid of it, right? But incorporating it into your education. Now, in a few moments, I'm going to introduce my guest, but I want to say hello also to a couple of friends we haven't greeted yet. Who's here? Yeah, absolutely, Lila. It would be fun to avoid it. But guess what? If you avoid it, your English skill will suffer, right? You just won't have the level of English that maybe you want, because grammar is essential. Grammar is the structure of the language you're trying to learn. So I would say this. I would say you ignore grammar at your risk. If you're just joining us, please say hello in the chat box and tell us what country you're watching from. And we'll get started in a moment once my guest is ready. Yeah, so I wanted to say that because I've seen a lot of videos by English teachers on social media saying native speakers never study English grammar, so you shouldn't. That's just not true. I don't know why they're telling you that specifically. I believe it's because they don't like English and they want you to follow their method of non-grammar learning English. And you're welcome to do that, but I think you do that at your own risk because it isn't true that native speakers don't learn grammar. We do learn grammar. And then we forget about it and then we use it. But by then it's mixed into our skill set, right? And it's reinforced and it gets better because we're practicing it all the time. But again, you learners out there don't have that opportunity if you're not in an English country. Okay? So be careful with social media English teachers who would like you to believe that grammar is not important. It is. It's not number one necessarily. It's one of many skills you need. You need grammar skills, you need speaking skills, you need listening skills, reading, writing. It all works together to develop your English proficiency, which is the goal. Okay. I think my guest is ready, so I'd love to introduce you to my first guest. My first guest has been on this show 3 times in the past, usually around this time at Christmas. He is a singer-songwriter from Brazil, fantastic musician, great artist, and interestingly enough, guys, he writes and sings in English. So, for those of you who love to learn English through music, his music is a very interesting opportunity to do that because although he's Brazilian and his native language is Portuguese, he himself speaks excellent English and he sings in English. Okay, so let's meet and greet Mr. Nic Darwin. Hi, Nick. How are you?
Hey, Paul. I'm good. How are you?
Great. Welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me. And first and foremost, I want to say that I agree with you 100% about grammar. Without it, like as an artist and a songwriter, it would be impossible to write songs and to really connect and convey the message. So,
Yeah. It's a
yes,
little bit, grammar structure is a little bit like musical structure, like a song has a structure, right? Verse, chorus, bridge.
yeah,
Without those, it's not a song.
yeah, exactly.
So,
And more than that, I think that uh, when you're writing a song or whatever you're writing using your creativity, uh, if you don't have the skill set, if you don't have the tools that grammar provides you, uh, you might end up with a not so interesting product.
that's right. Or in the case of a language, you might end up saying something that nobody understands.
Yeah.
Or worse, sometimes it's worse if they understand it, but it's the wrong understanding,
Hmm.
right? Like if you're misinterpreting the message because you're not using grammar correctly, misunderstandings can be dangerous even.
Yeah.
Never mind just a problem.
You can get into
So,
trouble easily.
yeah, music needs structure, language needs structure.
Hmm.
Anyway, how have you been, Nick? What have you been working on this year?
Well, I'm doing great, actually. I've shared with you recently that I conquered a fear that I had of speaking in videos, uh, especially for you know Instagram content and other types of content. Because it's weird that I use my voice as an artist, and when I have to speak, when I'm not singing, I'm not comfortable with it. So I recently got through it, and I'm happy about it because uh, one of the most important things in an artist's career is communicating, and I'm glad that I'm getting to do it.
How did you do that? What did you do to overcome your lack of confidence or your doubt about speaking,
Um,
in English or publicly?
I, I think that for many years I didn't understand what was really my message, what I was about as an artist. And once I understood it, it was easier to talk about it, and then to talk in front of a camera, speaking, like recording something. It's it's more like trial and error. Like you have to do it and do it again and
Yeah.
do it again until you're less uncomfortable with it. Because I don't think I'll ever
And
be comfortable, but less than
sure.
comfortable. Yeah.
Did you find that the more you did it, the more you kind of discovered your voice, discovered your message, discovered yourself in a way
Yeah,
through doing it.
through doing it and through writing as well, because uh, it's weird when you get your at least for me, when you get your cell phone and you just pop it up, press film, and start talking,
Yes.
and words don't for me the words don't come like this, not in English, not in Portuguese. I'm not comfortable. I don't know what to say, so I have to write. And I love writing, and I think that I when I started writing the things that I want to write, that I want to say, uh, it became easier to go out and tell it.
Now, I understand that completely. I'm older than you are, and you might even be a little older than some of our viewers, but we didn't grow up putting a phone in our face and saying things into it. So it's very unnatural for my generation, certainly. I'm comfortable on camera like this, but holding a phone at my face and talking into it is very strange.
Yeah,
It's very strange. But a younger generation has grown up doing that, and for them it's completely natural. The way, as a child, we had to stand up in front of a class and give presentations. Even though I'm a pretty reserved person, I can do that, right? But you didn't grow up with cell phones in your face, did you?
no, no. As a matter of fact, I when I grew up, we used to text people. We only had text messages. We didn't have video cameras, like uh, instant video cameras like a cell phone. So uh, and this format where you film yourself is even weirder in a way, because
Hmm.
when I was a kid, I would take a camera and I would point it to wherever, not my face.
Yes. So you enjoyed photography and video of other things, but not yourself,
Yeah, I think that's
right?
one of the reasons that why I got into the film industry, um, because I was, and I still am very uncomfortable with my image. Uh, so it's like one step in front of another,
Yeah.
trying to break through it and conquer these fears or these preconceptions. I don't know.
For those of you who don't know, Nick, in addition to being a singer-songwriter, also shoots, directs, and edits videos, music videos, all kinds of productions, right, Nick?
Yeah,
Advertisement, I think, too, right?
yeah. Some of it. I did a TV show last year.
Hmm.
I directed, but mostly music videos. I
Yeah,
think it's my way of being in a music industry without showing my face.
sure. Well,
But
it's a great combination of skills because not only can you make videos for other artists, you can also make excellent videos with you
yeah,
as the subject, right? Your videos. So I want to point to the description box below, especially on YouTube. People can find all of your links on your YouTube channel, Spotify, and all those videos that they can watch of yours.
awesome. Thank
Yeah, of course. I want to share that with people. And coming up soon, guys, we will play a video or two of Nick's, so stay tuned. But just here's a question for you. I think Gloria Gloria is
Oh yeah,
asking, "Are you from Brazil?"
I am from Brazil. Sorry,
What
I have another screen here, so it's a little, it has a little delay on it.
what what city are you from, Nick?
I'm from São Paulo.
And Gloria, where are you from? Let's see. Where in Brazil are you from? I also want to mention, guys, that Nick You can tell his English is excellent, right? Great English. I'm not taking credit for it, of course, but I met Nic when he was an English student in Canada. He came to Canada to study for a while. He was a student in my class. That's how we met. And I noticed even then, that was Nic 8 years ago, maybe?
Yeah. Yeah, 8 years ago. Yeah,
Yeah, a
exactly.
long time, right?
Yeah. Oh, I haven't thought of that. It's
I
been a
think it
while.
was 8 years ago.
Yeah, it was 2015.
That's right. And even then, your English was excellent. So it's not because of me that your English became excellent. I'm not taking
But
credit for your skill,
I
but
think
that's
you,
how we met.
I think you play a great role here. A great role. Sorry, uh, on my improvement, and it's how you said it. Like you got to study, you got to talk to people, and when you're immersed in a culture, when you're surrounded by English, it all goes much better than you could
Yeah.
ask.
As I said in my little speech earlier, you you have to integrate all of your knowledge and your skills, right?
Yeah,
So even if you study grammar out of a textbook, you upload it to your brain, sooner or later you need to hear it and see it and read it so that you can apply what you know to what you experience, and it becomes a feedback loop and it reinforces your knowledge. Just like if you're learning to play guitar from watching YouTube videos, sooner or later you have to try playing it.
yeah,
And then you need feedback either from a coach or comparing what you do with something else and see how it works and doesn't work. But you have to bring all those skills together. So I don't tell people that grammar is the most important thing. It's one of several skills you have to develop and
mhm.
learn and put together.
Yeah. I always thought that after I came back from Canada, I always had that in my head. Like, there's no experience with English, such as get into a Starbucks and try to order some sandwich.
Yeah.
You get when you're not a native speaker and you just got there, you get like you get goosebumps, and you're afraid of speaking, and the other person is like they're just working and they want to
Yeah.
do it fast, and you're you're there uh,
That's big pressure.
slowly trying to convey your message to them. It's just a simple sandwich. What about other things? More important things.
Yeah. That's a great point because a lot of times students say things to me like, how much English do I need? Or I want to sound like a native speaker. And I always ask them, well, how much you need depends on what you want to do with it, right? If you just want to travel and order a coffee, well, you need a certain level of English. If you want to
Hmm.
study abroad, you're going to need a higher level of English. If you want to work in an English country, you may need the highest level because you're going to be working with native speakers who may be highly educated and
Yeah,
speak at a very high level. So it depends what kind of goal you have and what kind of native speaker you want to sound like. If you just want to have basic chats with people and, say, hey, let's go for lunch together, you don't need a lot of English. But as you said, even ordering a coffee or a sandwich in an English country is a big challenge.
yeah, it is.
And there's a lot of little problems to solve with communication, right?
Hmm.
You can't just go to a Starbucks and say, I want a coffee and a sandwich. They're going to say, which sandwich? They're going to say, what kind of coffee? And
Yeah,
now you have to get more complexity into your communication. And to do that, you need vocabulary and you need grammar.
I just realized that I said Starbucks, but I meant Subway. They're both
Subway, right.
they're both green.
Yeah.
I messed it up.
I would
Uh,
say Subway has better sandwiches than Starbucks, but Starbucks,
yeah,
they do sell sandwiches.
when you said Starbucks, I was like, wait, did I say Starbucks?
You did. I think you did, unless I'm just
Yeah, I did.
imagining.
Uh, But yeah, and as from an artist's point of view, it's the same thing. Like I sing songs in English. I write in English and I sing in English, and I'm not communicating like directly with people that don't speak English. They might hear my songs, but if you take it as a competition, I'm competing with all sorts of the artists from the U.S., Canada, United Kingdom, everyone who speaks English.
Yeah.
So I gotta do it on a proper level, and I guess that's the reason why I never stop learning. I never quit learning something new or increasing my vocabulary because I need it. I need to improve.
Do you remember why you started singing in English? Where did that start? Did a certain artist inspire you, or was it just a natural progression?
I
It seems like
think,
such a big jump.
yeah, but I think that I never really wrote songs in Portuguese, like for real. I think my first song I wrote in English. I always listen to music in English, to rock bands and pop music, and when I started writing in Portuguese, I found it uh, difficult to structure the song to rhyme. Especially the rhymes are pretty difficult because some words you just uh, you cannot rhyme. You cannot make many clever rhymes as you can do in English. So you end up rhyming verbs because they end the same.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
In English, it's for me, it's more inventive. You can get creative with it. You can create new words or new ways of saying things that won't create a I don't know, won't make people misunderstand you, especially because music is, you have poetic license. So
Yeah. It's interesting what you say about rhymes because English spelling doesn't necessarily, if you have two different words, two words with similar spelling endings, doesn't mean their pronunciation sounds the same.
yeah,
So you do have a lot of freedom because you're just kind of rhyming sounds
mhm,
regardless of the spelling.
yeah,
I've always said that, one of the things that makes English hard to learn is that it's irregular. It has all these different spelling systems, different grammar systems, because of the influence of French and Latin and Germanic languages on English. It's highly irregular, very hard to learn. But
mhm,
for that same reason, it's got rules and exceptions. It doesn't make sense. For that same reason, it's incredibly creative because it doesn't have to follow a strict rule system, right? So it's
yeah,
maybe that's why there's been so much English literature, English poetry, English music
mhm,
created because it's a very flexible language. You can play with it. Do you
yeah,
find that?
yeah, and even for when you get two different words that don't sound exactly the same, you can like twist your pronunciation a bit to make it sound good when you're rhyming verses. Uh, so it's not just the spelling, but you can twist your way of saying some words. You can speed it up, you can slow it down, and you can make it fit in your song.
So Jonas here is requesting a song. Jonas from Morocco.
Oh,
Jonas, Nick, we are going to play a couple of Nick's videos. We're going to play one at the top of the hour. And we have a special Christmas song at the end of the show after our second guest. So stay with us for a few more minutes and you'll see Nick's first song. In fact, he prepared a song just an hour ago or 2 hours ago.
yeah.
So this is the first. You are the first audience to ever hear this version of his song. So We're very
No, it's not
honored,
my
Nick.
song. It's White Christmas. It's a cover.
Okay, but your
The
version
other
of it,
might be a song of mine.
yeah. It's Christmas season in Canada. Canadians love Christmas. What's Christmas like in Brazil?
Wet and warm. It's too hot. I mean,
So now it's kind of your summer.
yeah, it's summer. It's at the top of the summer. Just last week, I think, here in Sao Paulo, we hit 42 degrees. So it's crazy. Uh, but yeah, it's a soggy, sweaty Christmas, but it's cool. You don't get all the snow, but you get to hang out with your family, your friends.
Well,
It's
you know what's funny? It's so funny, Nick, because when we think of Christmas, we associate it with snow and Christmas trees and all that stuff. But Christmas is the celebration of the birth of Christ, and Christ was born in a desert country,
yeah,
not a snowy country. So maybe Brazilian Christmas is closer to an authentic Christmas than Canadian or European
maybe,
Christmas is.
maybe. But you know
Because
what?
all of this Santa Claus stuff makes no sense.
Yeah, but the thing is, I think I speak for most Latin America. We grew up with that image of Christmas from North America, from Europe.
Yeah.
So even here, we associate Christmas with snow, with Santa Claus, and all kinds of stuff you have there. So although it's hot here, I myself I don't think of Christmas like, yeah, it's a summer holiday. I never thought of that.
When you were in Canada, I don't recall the season. Were you in Canada in our winter?
I was in fall.
Fall,
Uh,
right.
it was yeah, I got the beginning of the winter, but then I came back to Brazil.
So you missed our. Well, actually, you came to Vancouver, where I live, and actually in Canada, it's the warmest part of the country, so we don't
Yeah.
really get snow. It
Hmm.
rains here, but right now it's December 8, and we haven't had any kind of snow. We just had rain. So even though Canadians think of white Christmas and snow and skating and snowflakes, that's not true over here in Vancouver. We just
Yeah, for
walk
most
around in raincoats.
hmm
It's a different world here. It's like a Blade Runner.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
crazy.
But I love the weather. I'd rather be there in Montreal maybe with minus
Montreal is
40.
nice. Yeah. That's true. The eastern part of Canada gets all the snow and that stuff, and it is very beautiful at Christmas.
Yeah.
It's nice to visit there. Don't want to live in those cold places, but
Hmm.
here's something from Jonas. He suggests you sing the Eagles' Hotel California. Is that in your repertoire?
Uh Man, I
That's a
think
long song.
yeah, and it's been like a decade at least since I I sang this song for the last time. I don't think I remember it. I
Isn't
don't
it
think
one
I
of
know.
those songs? Isn't it one of those songs that guitar players always try to learn when they're
Yeah,
starting?
yeah, yeah. I might. Do you want me to try it? I might screw it up, but let's see.
Oh, you're going to do it right now?
Yeah.
Why not?
Okay.
If you want
I
to,
just I just need to pick up the lyrics.
it's Jonas' request. How
Lyrics.
about that? It's like a live request show. How about that?
That is it.
And in a few minutes, we will also play one of your videos.
Okay, great.
I think My Kind of Girl. Yeah,
My kind of girl.
great song. And just in case some of you are confused, Nick writes and performs his own music, right?
Yeah.
So Hotel California is not his song.
Yeah, and it's been a while since I played covers, so I may be a little rusty. And this is really the tune.
And by the way, this is not prepared. You had no idea you were going to play this song.
No. Okay. I don't remember the intro, so I'm just gonna sing it.
Sure.
I don't think I know it. Sorry.
Okay.
I'll try. I'll try once.
Okay, sure.
I'll try one.
It's a little unfair.
On a dark desert highway, cool wind in my hair, warm smell of colitas rising up through the air. Up ahead in the distance, I saw a shimmering light. My heart grew heavy. I messed it up. I really don't know it. Let's jump
That's
to the
okay.
chorus. I know the chorus.
Okay.
Welcome to the Hotel California. Such a lovely place. Such a lovely face. Plenty of room at the Hotel California. Any time of year, you can find it here. Yeah, that was terrible.
Well, I would say that's pretty awesome, Nick, considering that you had no idea they were going to ask you to play that. So thank you very much. This is an interesting comment here from Lila. She said, when I was young, it made me feel bad, even though, would you consider this a kind of sad song?
Yeah, I don't know why.
It's got that mood to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's probably because when I was young, I didn't understand English, so all my knowledge of music were based off on the mood and the style, and it had like minor chords and sound sad, you know.
Yeah, it's the minor chords, right? That's
Yeah.
really what music does. So even if you don't understand the lyrics, the minor chords tend to evoke that sad or melancholy or saudade. Is it kind of saudade feeling,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, kind of, yeah.
And major chords are happy and celebration and
Uplifting, and even for my new songs, where I write mostly about anxiety and mental health, I use major chords. So the songs sound happy, but they have a dark and sad background, you know.
yeah. That's an interesting contrast. And the opposite also, right? Where songs can be very light lyrics and funny lyrics, but really dark chords. I
Yeah.
think I remember an artist called Belle and Sebastian. I think they're Scottish. They were around in the 1990s and they played these kind of folky rock songs with
Yeah.
really hilarious lyrics, really ironic and funny lyrics about college life and stuff. But the sound was very dark and serious. It was
I love that
quite a
contrast.
contrast.
Yeah. I love that about music. You can create whatever you want, you know. You can make like a super sad song with a super strong and upbeat vibe, or you can make uh, a mellow melody and sad with sad chord progression, and write about happy things, and it's gonna. I think at the end, it's a matter of how people feel about it. So that's the magic of it.
That's the magic.
Once you're writing, when you write a song, when you produce a song, you have one, uh, you have your message, and you're trying to convey something, but maybe what people will hear of it, what they who actually listen, is not what you intended to communicate, you know.
Yeah. And
and
that's
you end
art.
up finding new meanings for your
Yeah.
song.
That's great art. Great art, whether it's music or cinema or literature or painting, it doesn't tell you everything. It leaves
Hmm.
a lot for the viewer or the audience to interpret, match their own knowledge and experience to that and come away with their own meanings.
Yeah,
If you explain everything, it's not really art.
yeah. I think uh, that's why many songwriters, if not most of them, write with metaphors. They use metaphors
Yeah.
all along their music, because it's funnier to write that way, and uh, people are gonna interpret the way they want.
Yeah. Metaphor, actually, in the new year, I'm planning to make a course on metaphor
Oh,
because
I want to take.
metaphor is one of the sort of higher level uses of language,
Hmm.
in any language, right? Portuguese, Chinese,
Yeah,
every language uses metaphor, but it's kind of the highest, most mysterious thing to use and to understand.
yeah,
So I'm designing a course about that because I think English is so full of metaphor, even just in daily life,
hmm,
like when someone says an idiom like, "Oh, you're sad, get over it."
hmm.
Well, what do you mean get
Get
over?
over
You mean like, so
it. Yeah,
metaphor is built into the language and it makes it very hard for a learner to grasp. So I'm
mm,
building a course about metaphor to make it less mysterious, to make it less confusing, because
yeah.
it's there. And I've found that most English courses or schools never talk about metaphor.
I think that's awesome
Yeah, so it's a bit of a
because it's
problem out there for learning.
yeah, it's really it's a weird thing, metaphors, because uh, I think all cultures have the same metaphors, but they say it differently.
Yeah,
So when you translate a metaphor from English to Portuguese, for instance, you don't get the same. We don't say it like that.
that's
We
right.
use another type of metaphor that you guys wouldn't understand.
That's right.
So trying to interpret the metaphors in different languages, it's such a difficult task.
That's right. Yeah, Lila says that's one of the reasons she loves poetry. Yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
So, in the new year, let's talk about metaphor. In the meantime, guys, do you have any questions for Nick while we have him here? Please put your questions in there. Nick, who are some of the musicians that you are listening to a lot lately? Who are some of your
Oh,
favorites?
21 Pilots, you know them?
Yep.
I think for me, last year was 100% 21 Pilots based. I lived off 21 Pilots uh, because I was trying to not only I love their music, but I was trying to write more meaningful lyrics like they do, and sometimes use rap on the songs, and they do it in a fantastic way. So they're really a great inspiration. And yeah, I think Muse, Ed Sheeran, all sorts of of different styles.
And those two right there are very different, right? Muse
Yeah,
and Ed Sheeran make
yeah,
very different music.
pop and dark rock, But I think that's the thing about a contrast, that we're talking about. When you mix those things, you can come up with a great song.
So, Jonas has a question here for you. He
Oh,
says he wants to learn guitar. What do you advise him to start with?
um, yeah. The easiest way to start is learning the basic chords, and really not putting too much thought into it. If you go too much into the theory,
Theory? Yeah.
you're gonna be stuck for a while. So just just pick a song that you like, or like 10 songs that you like, learn the basic chords and try to play them. And it's gonna be hard. Your fingers are gonna hurt. They might bleed, but
That happens, yeah.
yeah, it's part of the learning curve, and it's a rewarding experience when you finally learn a song that you want to play.
Lila says something about metaphor here. Yes. To relate it to the environment, that's why it differs from one language to another. Exactly. I'll give you an example here. A famous metaphor is useful because humans have the ability to think abstractly, right? About non-material things, ideas and concepts, abstractions like love. And we try to understand it. And metaphor helps us by taking an abstract idea and making it like something familiar, right? So we might say love is like a flower, right? If you care for it, it grows. But also, like roses have thorns, so it could be dangerous, it can hurt you. So we can see the similarity here. But here's the beautiful thing, as Lila points out. If we say love is like a flower, great, beautiful poetry. The thing is, flowers are different in different countries. So your knowledge and memory and experience of a flower will be different than mine.
Yeah.
Canadian flowers are different than Brazilian flowers, are different than Arabic flowers. So everyone brings their knowledge of flower to that metaphor and sees it in their imagination differently. That's why song lyrics and poetry and literature are so powerful. That's why when we read a story like Harry Potter, we have our own imagination of what it looks like in our mind. It's different from another person because the idea, the abstraction might be universal, but the metaphor will be different for every single person. And even, for example, an English speaker from Canada, across Canada, the flowers are different. And even if two people from the same town read that or hear it, they're going to have their own different experiences with flowers. Some people might love flowers and think, oh, that's a great metaphor. Some people might have been cut by flowers, so when they see that, they think, oh, love is painful.
Yeah.
That's the beautiful thing about metaphor
Yeah,
and
I agree.
music lyrics.
It's all about culture and experiences.
That's
Like,
right.
you might, and even I find that with art, especially music and cinema, that even people from different countries, like you're in Canada and I'm in Brazil, and we might think of the same thing, but your neighbor wouldn't think of, and my
That's
neighbor
right.
wouldn't imagine
Yeah.
as I'm imagining it. So it's I think recently, in the last for the last decade, I think, as the internet spread and social media and all that stuff that happened with technology, uh, we became a borderless cultural group.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're sharing our metaphors and our cultures around the world.
Yeah.
Well, Nick, I'd like to play one of your videos and then say goodnight to you because it's late where you are. So stay tuned, folks. We're going to play one of Nick's music videos. Then I'll bring our next guest on. And then at the end of the show, we will play a special recording that Nick made for us today. So, Nick, we're going to play My Kind of Girl. So why don't you introduce it for us?
My Kind of Girl is a song about love, and I made it for my girlfriend, for my now she's my wife. And
Congratulations, Nick.
thank you. And it's a funny song. It has a lot of references I took from Janis Joplin, my favorite artist of all time. Uh, and yeah, and I love that song. So
Okay. Well, without further ado, then let's uh, let's play "My Kind of Girl" by Nic Darwin. And folks, please tell me if you have any trouble hearing this or anything like that, and we'll...
It's like there's no one else around. Make a quick trip to Miami, never let the sun go down. I know I'm no Bobby Mackey, but I can sing if she's coming with me. Well then drive away to LA, to the blue of my ripped jeans start to fade. She's the one I dream of, and I just can't dream without her. She's a memory of all the things I care about, yeah. When she calls my name, I don't understand what the heck I've never told her. She's perfect, just my kind of girl. She's the only one I hope she knows exactly how to take. Not a little piece of my heart every time she walks away. I know I'm just trying to get her telling me under her breath that she'll never lie, never leave. We'll be better together, I believe. She's the one I dream of, and I just can't dream without her. She's a memory of all the things I care about, yeah. When she calls my name, I don't understand what the heck I've never told her. She's perfect, just my kind of girl. I'm about to tell her something. She's gonna love me someday. I just wanna let loose with her. She's gonna love me someday. I'll never leave her, no way. Nothing left to lose with her. She's the one I dream of, and I just can't dream without her. She's a memory of all the things I care about, yeah. When she calls my name, I don't understand what the heck I've never told her. She's perfect, just my kind of girl. She's the one I dream of, and I just can't dream without her. She's a memory of all the things I care about, yeah. When she calls my name, I don't understand what the heck I've never told her. She's perfect, just my kind of girl.
Thank you very much, Nic. That was fantastic. It's a
Thank
great
you.
song.
Thank you. Glad you like it.
Yeah, it was wonderful. A quick question about that. Did you do all the instrumentation, including the guitar and
Yeah.
singing?
Oh no, for this one, the electric guitar was a friend of mine that recorded, but the rest of the instrumentation was all me.
And the production and engineering, you did the whole thing.
The production I did, and the engineering was another friend of mine. He's a big producer here in Brazil, and he mixed mastered it. That's why it
It's
sounds
fantastic.
fantastic.
Well, it does sound great, yeah. Well, Nic, it's getting late, so I'm going to say goodnight to you. And thank you for joining us. And thank you in advance, because at the end of the show, we're going to play your fresh recording that you made just for us. So
Thank you. Well, my pleasure to be here, and thanks for having me.
you're welcome. Merry Christmas to you and the missus.
Merry Christmas
Have a-
to you, family.
Have a great holiday, and we'll catch up in the new year, Nic.
Okay.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Nic Darwin, thank you. Thank you, Nic. Alrighty. Well, I hope you enjoyed meeting Nic and hearing some of his music. And again, he's prepared a song for us that we'll play at the end of the show. Now, I would like to introduce you to our second guest. This gentleman has joined us One moment, folks. It's got to set something out. This gentleman has joined us several years in a row for the Christmas special. He is an educator and, importantly, a puppeteer. And he has an organization of puppets called Puppets. And I personally love what he does. I'm a big fan of puppetry. As a child, I loved puppets. I loved watching puppet movies like The Muppets. I collected marionette puppets, hand puppets. I loved it. So when I met him online and saw what he was doing, I was really excited to meet him. I've been fortunate that he's been my guest on this show, and his puppets have been my guest 3 years in a row. So it's an honor to welcome him again. And he's going to introduce one of his pals as well. So, without further ado, let me introduce to you Mr. James Marshall and his special guest, welcome, James. How are you?
Good morning. Hello, Paul. Can you hear me okay?
Perfectly, yes.
Excellent. Okay. How are you today?
Well, I'm great. I'm so happy to see you again and happy to have the honor of having you and your friends on the show again.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for the lovely introduction, too. It's great to see you. And hello to everyone watching.
I think some of our viewers may remember you. Somebody mentioned it to me earlier. But I think we should just go through your story a little bit to introduce you to the new friends. So take us back a little bit, James, because you have a very interesting story. Can you tell us a little bit about your life and education and puppetry?
Yeah, I'll give you the short version.
Yeah, sure.
Regarding the puppets, as yourself, I'm a teacher as well. I was teaching in China for many years. And my specialty was young learners. So kindergarten, grade 1, prep sort of level. And sorry, so I really got into that job. I loved it, did it for a long time. But I always had a problem finding nice quality puppets for the classroom. So, so I sorry. So I always had this dream in my mind. Someday I'll make my own puppet company. It was one of those pie in the sky dreams. Do you understand? You know the saying?
Pie in the sky, yeah. Just
It's
a big
one of
dream in the...
Yeah, it's like this amazing dream that would probably never happen, but I like to daydream about it. And then COVID happened, and I was teaching online then, but the China government changed their policy about online teaching overnight. So suddenly I went from full-time working to nothing. So that kind of pushed me into focusing on the puppet business more, and which I did, and that was 2 years ago. So here we are.
And now it's doing really well. I've seen teachers around the world are purchasing your puppets and using them to teach the kids, right?
Yes, absolutely. And we've been in music videos from an artist in Singapore. So maybe we should send Nic a puppet, I think.
Great idea. We should see Nic in a video singing with a puppet. That would be fantastic.
A mini Nic, that'd be cool. I'll talk to him about that, because I think that new video you showed, it's amazing. He's always
So
been
good.
great, but that new video is like, wow, yeah.
Yeah. He's got a whole new series of shorts that he's making for YouTube Shorts and TikTok
Oh, nice.
that feature his music and his ideas and his production value. He makes beautiful.
Yeah, incredible. So I'm gonna one cool thing I noticed with the YouTube algorithm, I have a music mix which is randomly generated, but now it's starting to drop in Nic Darwin songs, and I thought, I need to tell him that. I thought that was pretty
That's
cool.
great. I'm
Yeah.
sure he'd appreciate that. Someone here is asking, where are you from?
Oh, I'm from Australia, but I've been overseas for so long that I've lost a little bit of that Australian accent. So it's more British now, or a little bit neutral. I try to keep it a little neutral, yeah.
And by the way, in a little while,
Hi, Chris.
you and I, or me and your new friend, are going to play a little game with our accents. Because I think your friend has a very strong Aussie accent, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's a little bit cheeky, so we have to be careful with him. But I have one here, brand new still in the box. I thought I'd show you guys what it looks like when you get one in the post. Okay.
Absolutely. Let's do that.
You can see here, there's a little sticker of him, and that is Grumple Snoot. It's a funny
Grumple
name.
Snoot. Love it.
Made up. Yeah. So the box
Let's
is a
meet
little
Grumple Snoot.
smaller than previous ones because we had to try and cut down on shipping this year
Yeah.
because the cost kept going up. Scottish, not Scottish.
Squish.
I thought you were Scottish. Actually, my great grandparents are from Scotland, so well done. Yeah. Okay. All right. So in the box we have this stick, and somebody thought it was a back scratcher. No, it's not a back scratcher. It's called an arm rod, and this goes over the puppet's wrist, so you can make it a little move. Yeah.
Okay.
So there's
great.
only one. We just send one as like an introduction, a free gift with every puppet. Yeah. Okay. So here comes a little bag in there.
Oh, I love the bag. Yeah.
Nice little carry bag, and I've never seen this puppet before, so I hope it's okay. Oh, here he is. Look.
Hello there.
Yeah, that's a good thing to see first. Okay. All right. So this is Grumple Snoot, and he is a storytime monster puppet. He's not alive yet. We have to do a special. There's a little routine we do to.
A little, yeah, great. A little birth ritual.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the Genesis moment. So that's Grumple Snoot. He's nice and furry, very soft.
Hi, Grumple
Super
Snoot.
soft. Yeah. His nose is a little bit broken, but that's okay. All right, so let's try. Let's talk to Grumple Snoot. You're going to interrogate him.
Hello, Grumple Snoot. Happy birthday.
Oh, g'day, mate.
So, Grumple Snoot, you have a nice colorful shirt, a nice nose.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you from?
I'm from the Enchanted Woods.
Oh. You sounds great.
The Enchanted Woods in Brisbane, Australia.
Oh, okay.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting because somebody in the audience noticed that Mr. James has an accent that accents are funny, but they're listening to me, they heard Nic, and then when you joined us, they can see a difference. They can hear a difference.
Wow. Okay.
They don't necessarily know where you're from, but they know that you and I must be from different places. I'm from Canada, and you're from the Enchanted Forest in Australia.
Yeah.
So we have a question, Grumple Snoot. Maybe this one's for Mr. James.
Yes.
Don't you make your own puppets?
Yes, well, that's a good question. Thank you, Layla. I do both. So we have a factory in China, and they make the retail puppets like Grumple Snoot and Marlin. So they make like 1,000 each time. They make a lot.
Right.
But at the same time, if you look behind me, you can see, I'll show you. There are a couple of big puppets. They're really large. They're like 32 inches tall. Would you like me to get one? I can show you.
Sure, yeah. And these are all your designs, right? You're the creator of this.
So what I do is, so we get these blank puppet like this, and they're quite big. Hey, Rumplesnake. So they're quite big, and then the customer chooses the hair, the nose, the eyes, and I build it for them. Yeah. So that's what they look like, and then we sew the different hair on. So this guy, he's waiting to have his clothes and his eyes and nose glued on today. That's my job today. I have 5 to make.
Great. And so if they go to the puppets lab, they can pick and choose the elements, right?
That's right. Actually, Paul, I've got something to show you. Do you mind?
Of course, please. Not at all.
I'll just share the screen, and I have a video for you here.
Okay.
Here we go.
Let me minimize myself.
Okay. All right, here we go. I'll make it full screen. This is only 50 seconds, okay?
We're here in the Puppets Lab waiting to create your amazing full-body professional puppet. Move through each step and create your very own professional-style puppet. It couldn't be easier. Choose from a wide range of beautiful handmade pieces. We've got puppet bodies, eyes, noses, hair pieces, outfits, and much, much, much more. There are literally thousands of variations on offer. The only limit is your wonderful imagination. Calm down. We've got you covered. Get access to our 10-part introduction to puppetry video course. Totally free. We'll even give you a free printed carry bag and free international express shipping. So there's no excuses now. Let's get started on your puppet today.
That's fantastic, James. And this is, so that's the Puppets Lab, puppets.net, and I've got all that, all the links below in the description on YouTube and Facebook and all that, so they can reach you.
Yes.
I wonder, you mentioned, James, about how you were teaching with the students in China, and then that was cut off during the pandemic. I experienced something similar because I was teaching a writing program at the brand new Juilliard music school in China, and then they made that policy where they just all the foreign teachers online were just cut off.
It really caught us by surprise. I mean, I had a full-time job. I had a contracted like 9-to-5 job for a big company there, so I thought I was safe. I thought no problem. COVID, I can work from home. I'm safe. But that really threw us a lot of us a lot of trouble with that.
Yeah, and it's the nature of politics and economics, and those are the reasons behind these things, and
Absolutely,
we just have to surf that. But what's also interesting about that story is that this all happened during the COVID, just like my live stream did. These were projects that we started because we had to adjust to our new reality of working online, right?
Yes. Yep. And I think a lot of people went through that change from working in an office to working from home. It was a big shift for people. Yeah.
And it's so exciting to see how fast and how far the whole Puppets project has come. It's been really cool.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
So
this year, to be honest, it's been a little slow because I released 2 puppets, but I think I made them either maybe a little too small, or people were just looking for something different. So next year I have a lot planned. We got monkeys, we got a live hand monster puppet, so you put your hands in, you can control the monster hands. Really fun.
Wow.
And we have a dog coming and a lot of new stuff. Yeah, a lot of stuff coming next year.
It's fantastic. I wonder if Mr. Grumplesnoot and I could play a little game here.
Yeah, let's go. This guy's boring. Hey.
Yeah.
Don't listen to me. Okay, let's play a game.
So what I'd like to do is, as people have noticed, I have a Canadian English accent. Grumplesnoot has an Australian accent. So I want to do a little comparison game, and we can call this maybe...
Battle of the accents.
Right? Maybe it's kind of a accent investigation.
Oh, that's better. Yeah. Okay. Let's go with that.
And I have a Wheel of Fortune thing that I'm going to bring on screen. We're going to spin it. And whatever word it lands on, I'm going to pronounce it. And Grumplesnoot can pronounce it. Oh. And we'll compare the difference, okay?
Okay.
So let's see here. Let me just move the screen to the side. Alrighty. How do we do this? Yeah, here we go. Oh.
Okay. Oh, you're big now. And the wheel's under here. Now I'm big.
We want the big wheel. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Okay, Grumplesnoot, if you're ready, let's spin the wheel. How do we spin this wheel now? What the heck?
Spin it, baby. Maybe click in the middle.
There we go.
Oh, okay, spin it.
Okay. So I'll go first, and I'll pronounce this word. Ladies and gentlemen, no.
And my turn?
No. Yeah, your turn, Grumplesnoot. No.
Nah.
Can you repeat that?
Nah.
Nah.
Nah, yeah, nah.
Yeah, nah.
Nah.
So folks, can you hear the difference when I say no And Grumplesnoot says,
Nah.
can you hear a difference there? Now, is that an Australian accent from a certain region, the Enchanted Forest, or?
Yeah. Well, in Australia, a lot of people have this very broad Australian accent, which you probably know from movies and things. And a common refrain is, yeah, nah, yeah, nah. So it's
Yeah,
almost
nah.
like, I'm not sure. Like, instead of saying, they say, yeah, nah, well, actually, and then they'll start their statement. So you'll hear that a lot in Australia, usually in the bush, in the countryside. Yeah, nah. Okay.
Okay, let's try another one here.
Alrighty.
Just trying to get the right setup here. What do we have? We have. Yeah, maybe this one's good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's better.
Here we go. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, in Canada we might say, Paul has a pet cat. I have a cat. Cat.
Cat.
Can you say again?
Cat.
Cat.
Those two are pretty similar, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Folks, what do you think? Anyone out there, can you hear a difference? I think it sounds kind of similar. Cat. Cat.
Cat.
Cat.
Cat. Cat. Cat.
Cat.
Meow.
Grumplesnoot has a cat.
Yeah. Or actually, Australian people, we often say moggy for cat. So
Moggy.
Australian for cat is moggy. I don't know why. Oh, that's a nice moggy. Hello, moggy.
That's interesting because not only are accents different across English-speaking countries, slang expressions are, right? Other words for things, nicknames.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And that's what makes language fun. Those little
Absolutely.
idioms and funny words. Yeah.
Is that how kangaroos sound? Okay.
Maybe, yes. I don't get close enough to find out. They're a bit scary, kangaroos.
Yeah, they are, aren't they? Okay, here we go, Grumplesnoot. Sorry, go ahead. James,
All right,
sorry.
what's this word? Music teacher. Oh. Shh, wait, Grumplesnoot. Oh, here we go.
Okay, so this word is... Sorry, let me just sort this out here. It's moving all over the place. Okay, so this is a famous object called a boomerang. Boomerang.
Boomerang. Yeah. Boomerang.
Boomerang.
Boomerang. He said hello.
Boomerang. Does that sound the same, guys? Boomerang.
Pretty much. I think
Boomerang.
as well as accent, there's also the intonation, right, Paul? So
Yeah.
often Australian words are a little bit, how would you say, gruff almost. Boomerang. Boomerang.
Boomerang.
Boomerang. Yeah, there's a little bit of a tang on the end. Boomerang.
Interesting. Boomerang.
Boomerang.
Boomerang. Oh, Lila has a question for you.
Okay.
Can you use a boomerang, James?
I cannot, but I did try. I've tried so hard. I do have friends. I grew up in a very small country town with Aboriginal friends, native Australians, and those kids could really throw a boomerang. And pinpoint accuracy, incredible, really good.
That's amazing.
Hmm.
Okay, boomerang. Pretty similar, I think. Okay, let's try our next choice. Are you ready? Here we go. This is a good one. I'm thirsty, so I think I will drink some water. Water. Water.
Water. Water. Water.
Water.
Water.
Water.
Water.
Water.
Yeah, there's a difference, right? Yeah.
There is a difference, right?
You guys
Depending on where.
pronounce the T, water.
Yeah, and sometimes not. In Canada, there's a kind of range with that T sound. And even inside me, sometimes I say water. Sometimes I say more of a D sound, like water. Depending on
Yeah.
the sentences around it.
Yeah, true. That's right. Yeah. So a
Water.
bottle of water is correct, but it's a little hard to see those T sounds. So we bottle of water. Bottle of water, mate. Can I have
Water.
a bottle of water?
Water.
Yeah, water. Yeah, water.
Do I sound Australian if I say that? Water.
Yes. Yeah.
Water.
That's very accurate. Water.
Can I have a bottle of water?
Yeah.
Water.
And how about in the UK they say a bottle of water? They don't say
Water.
at all. Water.
That's right.
There's
And
no-
even in some parts of the US, you hear that dropped T sound.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's what's there's a common man's name, Peyton, in England, in America, U.S. It's a common name. And there's a couple of famous sports players that have the name Peyton, and a lot of Americans will pronounce it Peyton, 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 no T sound.
Yeah. People get a bit lazy with the T, don't they? It's one of those
Yeah.
ones that's easy to drop.
I even remember being in the U.S. as a teenager. I went to a basketball camp in a Midwest area, and there was athletes from all over the states, and one guy was there from the South, and I'll never forget the way he pronounced wash, like wash your clothes. He pronounced it warsh,
Warsh. Like that.
warsh, like with an R in there, warsh, and he pronounced water, water.
Oh, okay.
I need a drink of water. It's very
Water.
odd. Yeah. But so once again, in summary, in English Canada, we would say water or water. And down in Oz, we would say
Water.
water.
Give us some water, mate. I'm thirsty.
Okay, Grumple Snoot, let's try another.
Okay.
Here we go. By the way, I want to say hello to, before we go to this,
Wash. Yeah.
this is interesting. This is a teacher named Jack, a new friend of mine. And it's interesting, Jack, I was just mentioning that word warsh. I actually went to basketball camp in Indiana at Earlham College, I believe it was. And the player that I met was from, I think, Georgia. And he actually said warsh. So maybe Jack's coach also pronounced it warsh. Very interesting.
Wash. I know my friend from Boston says coffee.
Coffee.
Yeah, I like his accent. It's
Amazing.
really cool.
Coffee. Okay, let's go with this.
Okay.
This word is music.
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 Kind of the same, right? Music.
Yeah. Or we say tunes. I'm going to listen to some tunes.
Tunes. Okay,
Yeah.
there's a difference because in Canada we would say tunes.
Oh, we say like chewing gum. Tunes.
Tunes.
Yeah.
How about YouTube? YouTube.
YouTube. YouTube. We say
Yeah, a little like a CH sound, right? Tube.
Yeah,
Tube.
YouTube. I'm going to watch some YouTube later.
Very interesting. And Jack is watching from Korea.
Oh,
Well, thanks
nice.
for watching, Jack.
Hi, Jack. I'm very close to you, Jack. I'm in Thailand. Just one country away, a couple of countries away.
Okay, Grumple Snoot, are you ready for the next
I
one?
love this. This is fun. Wheel of accents. Okay.
Okay, so in Canada, I am an English teacher. Teacher.
Teacher. Oh.
Teacher.
Teacher.
A little bit different, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Teacher.
Teacher. We say teacher. Hey, teacher.
Teacher.
Can I have some water?
Hey, teacher, can I have some water?
Yeah.
A little bit different, right?
Yes.
So I hope our audience is sort of noticing these sounds, how different they are, and some similarity, right? Teacher.
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 More of a ah sound, right?
Hey, teacher.
Oh, here's a question for Grumple Snoot
Uh-oh.
from Mr. Jack. Where's the R in Grumple Snoot?
Where is the R in Grumplesnoot? It's in the second letter. Grumplesnoot.
Okay. And Jonas says he can't quite catch the difference, which is okay. That's normal.
I hear this quite often. Very slight differences that it doesn't get picked up on, which is
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah, it's good.
Very interesting. And also, excuse me, some of our pronunciations are pretty much identical, right?
Yes.
Okay, let's roll the dice here again, or spin the wheel, as it were. Here we go.
Here we go, Grumplesnoot. Let's go.
Sparky. Sparky.
Sparky is an electrician in Australia. We say an electrician, someone who fixes power in your house. We call them the Sparky. Did you know that? Yeah. The Sparky.
That's hilarious.
Sparky.
It's funny because it's a common dog's name in North America.
Oh, okay.
I had a friend who had a dog named Sparky. But you're saying that in Australia it's the nickname for electricians.
Yes, yeah, Sparky.
Makes perfect sense.
Well, sparks coming out of power.
Yeah, it's actually kind of a dark humor because an electrician should not be making sparks when they're doing their work, right?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing about Australian slang. There's a sort of like that subtle humor under it, dark humor. Yeah. So for someone with really straight hair, we call them curly. Or someone with really red hair, we call them blue as a nickname. So we have that sort of comedy in our slang.
That's great.
Oh, Jack has a
Sparky.
question.
Oh,
Oh,
oops, sorry.
yeah, Jack said, sorry, I meant where's the R in teacher, Grumplesnoot? The R in teacher? Right at the end. Yeah, right at the end. Good job.
And Lila has a question for Grumplesnoot.
Okay.
I tend to use mixed accents, sometimes unconsciously. Should we focus on just one accent? That's a great question. What do you think, Grumplesnoot? James?
I think it really comes down to personal preference, right? Like I like the British accent because I grew up with British programs and movies and things. But I think it's really a personal decision what accent you like and what feels natural to you, what comes easy.
And if you end up going to an English-speaking country, whatever that accent is there, you're going to adopt it to some degree. It's going to happen naturally.
Yes, like osmosis, you can't help it.
Yeah, I mean, if I spent enough time in Australia, I would start speaking with an Australian accent.
Yes, definitely, yes. I had a lot of British colleagues in China, so I think their accent kind of rubbed off on me as well over 10 years. Yeah.
And Mr. Jack was actually a guest on this show a few weeks ago, and Jack is from the U.S., but now he's in Korea, but Jack is from a region of the U.S. that's in the middle and very north, and it's very close to Canada. So the accent he and I use are pretty close.
Yes.
We share a lot of commonality, even though Canada is, as a former British colony, we were raised on the British education system. And like you, I grew up watching British TV shows like Thunderbirds and Captain Scarlet and
Yeah, all the good stuff.
so yeah, and then Coronation Street and all that stuff. So we're very exposed to British culture. However, we use English more with our American neighbors and friends and colleagues. So we share that kind of accent exchange.
Yes. And you guys, do you say a lot? Apparently you say A-E-H? Is that
Yeah,
a
I don't
thing,
think
or-
so.
Okay, right.
I certainly don't. It's kind of a stereotype, I suppose. Sort of the countryside Canadian, the what we call the hoser, the hockey fan who lives out in the country or maybe in a small town up north.
Yeah.
Probably the same in Australia.
Yes.
They might talk like that. They might say, "Hey, how's it going, eh?
Yes.
You
like
watched
this.
the hockey game last night, eh?"
Yeah. Okay. Because
But,
Australia has a similar one. Some parts of Australia, people will say "a" at the end of a question, like end of a question, like "Gee, it's hot, eh? It's hot, eh?" And they'll say
Right.
"a" at the end, like "Isn't it?" So that's a bit of a. We call them bogans. You call them hoses. We say
Hosers,
bogans.
yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of mean, but it's kind of, the majority of Canadians live in the cities close to the American border, and we tend not to speak like that. So there's a bit of obnoxious superiority to city folks.
Yeah.
It's not fair, and I certainly try to avoid it.
I think that's universal. Yeah.
I think so. And like the way they may finish a sentence with a, I tend to finish my sentences with right. I'll say like, that's pretty interesting, right?
Right. Yes.
Right? So how different is that? It's just a different word.
It's another way to say, isn't it? Or are you looking for that validation, right?
That's right.
And then, right? Yeah. It's a bit-
Exactly. And that's what we have Coach Danny Stone with us. He's Canadian.
Yeah. Hi, Danny. Wow.
Yeah, and A, right? So Danny lives in Toronto, a big city, and probably does not hear a lot of people say A. Might use something else. It all depends. It's a bit of a stereotype. We had these comedians who did a comedy show back in the 70s and 80s called Doug and Bob McKenzie, and they were kind of playing up the stereotypical Canadian who lives in a log cabin and eats maple syrup and says A a lot. And I think they were such a big hit internationally. People assumed that it was an accurate depiction of Canadians. Well, if you get to know me a little bit or Coach Danny Stone, you can see that doesn't really reflect most Canadians. But it's kind of fun to play with.
Yeah. It's the same with the Australian accent, that really broad, strong accent. Not very common in Australia. Maybe in the countryside, but city people, they have their own accent, which is a little bit more refined. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to survive in the city, you need jobs and education. You tend to be a little bit away from those kind of stereotypical things. Here's a comment from Coach Danny Stone. People living in the same city have different accents depending on their neighborhood.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. So
Danny Stone is in Toronto. Toronto is a very multicultural place. It's where I grew up. And people are from all kinds of, very expensive. So you hear all kinds of different accents. Different versions of Canadian accents. For example, when I was growing up, there were a lot of new immigrants coming from Jamaica. Now they speak English, and they speak their own variety of Canadian English, but it's going to have a different accent than Bob and Doug McKenzie up in the log cabin.
a very cool accent.
Right?
I love one.
Okay, Grumple Snoot, let's roll the wheel again,
Your turn. Okay, look at
and
the
let's choose another word to compare. Oh, this is a fun one. So in Canada, I will park my car in the garage. The garage. How about in Australia?
garage. Same. Yeah,
Garage.
garage. Yeah, but some
Okay.
people say garage, right? I think America says
Garage.
Yeah,
It's a
but
good,
actually,
good
Australia,
question. Yeah.
we don't use the word. We say what do we say in Australia? We say carport, or we don't really say garage a lot. I don't think carport or shed, something like that.
Right. Garage.
Garage. Garage.
In Australia, would garage refer to like a mechanic's shop to fix your car?
Well,
Would you call that?
yeah, we call that a mechanic, basically, or servo. The service station, we say servo. We
Servo.
shorten things, yeah.
Yeah.
Same with afternoon, we say arvo. Service station, servo. We like to put O on the end. Yeah.
Oh, I like that. And again, that's not accent. That's like slang
Yeah.
expressions for words. Okay, Grumple Snoot, let's try another one.
Garage. Garage. All right, what do we got? Oh, no! Uh-oh. Okay, this will be interesting. Okay, Paul, you first.
Okay, this one is interesting. If I see that word, as I do now, I would say aluminium.
Huh?
Aluminium.
Very similar
How
to
about you?
Australian. Okay. Say this word in Australian accent. Aluminium.
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 Aluminium. Same, right?
It's a tricky word to say. Aluminium.
Yeah. Here's
But
the
we say
problem, though, guys.
silver foil. You know,
Silver foil. Yeah.
aluminium foil. We say silver foil. It's just easier.
Yeah. We might say tin foil.
Yeah, tin foil. Yeah, or silver foil. Yeah.
But guys, here's the weird thing. In Canada, and I believe in the US, we don't spell it like that.
Huh?
So we have this product called Alcan, which is, as you might expect, tin foil. But I don't know if the camera can pick this up, but it's spelled aluminum. Aluminum. So the North American product is not spelled aluminium.
They've
So
left
growing up, we end up saying aluminum.
the aluminum.
Aluminum.
So that's
Aluminum.
where it comes from. Yeah, Americans say aluminum as well.
Yeah. Now, which one's correct? Well, depends on how it's spelt in the product, right? It's confusing, and it's one of those things. I think people get all excited and debate. Oh, you know, you Yanks mispronounce it aluminum, or you Brits and Aussies are crazy by calling it aluminium. But we're both reading it the way it's spelled in front of us.
Yes.
So I'm happy to pronounce it aluminium if it's spelled like that in front of me. But if I read the package and it says aluminum, please don't hate me for pronouncing it that way.
I hate you now. You said the word wrong.
And
Aluminum.
here
Yeah, you say
Chris in
aluminium.
Belgium, yeah, and Chris in Belgium says it's spelled aluminium.
Interesting.
If teacher Jack is still with us, maybe he can tell us how he pronounces it, because he would probably encounter the spelling aluminum. And Jonas reminds us, yes, a lot of English words are from French originally,
yeah.
and German.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, let's spin the wheel again. Grumple Snoot, if you're ready.
Okay, let's go. What do we got this time? Oops. We're getting low. There's not many left. Uh-oh.
Niche.
Niche. Niche.
Niche.
Niche. No, we don't say niche, we say niche.
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 This is an interesting word. We hear this a lot in business talk, like a market niche or a social media niche means the group of people that follow you or that you're targeting for your product.
Yes.
And as Jonas reminds us, this is one of those words that came from French. That's why it's spelled that way.
Yeah.
However, I also hear a lot of people, probably in the US, pronounce it niche,
Yes.
which to me sounds crazy because it's a French word. It should be pronounced niche.
That's right. We don't say quiche, do we? We say quiche. We don't say
That's right.
yeah.
If we want to pronounce this niche, we should change the spelling to N-I-T-C-H, I guess. I don't know.
Niche. Niche.
So niche.
So
Niche.
they're
quiche.
yeah, they're very similar to Canada and Australia. We say niche.
I think so. Okay, we're getting low here. Let's try a couple more.
Tomato, tomato, tomato.
Ah. So in Canada, when I have a vacation, which I'm taking very shortly, I will have a lot of leisure time. I'm going to have some leisure. How about
We
you,
say
Grumples?
leisure, leisure.
Leisure. Leisure.
Leisure.
Leisure.
Let's enjoy some leisure time.
Leisure time.
We'll play in the water.
Get down to the beach and play in the water
Yeah, have a splash in the water.
with my friend Spocky. That's great. So yeah, there's a difference. Leisure. Leisure.
Leisure, leisure. And we say leisure.
Leisure.
Little different.
I think I've heard some people in Canada pronounce it leisure, but I pronounce it leisure. I'm not sure why. Well, Grumplesnoot, let's roll the wheel.
Okay.
Last four, final four, as it were.
Put it all on red. It's not roulette. Okay.
So, the second day of the week, or third. How do you say it?
Tuesday. Like a train.
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
So you have that CH sound again. Tuesday.
Yeah.
I would say Tuesday.
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 Yeah. So that seems to be a common difference between North American English. We would say that T sound a little harder. YouTube. Tuesday.
Tuesday. Yeah.
Musical tune.
We say tunes. Yeah. Tunes. Tuesday. What's another one? But things like tunnel or talk, we use the T sound. But when it's like I'm not sure if there's any rule to it. It's just one of those things, random things. Yes, we speak with our mouth open. Actually, Layla said Australians speak with their mouth wide open. But actually, a lot of the accent comes from keeping our mouth shut because there's so many flies in the outback. Or when people first moved to Australia, there were so many flies, and they like to go in your mouth. They like the moisture. So people used to speak like this with their mouth shut to keep the flies from going in their mouth. Apparently, my grandfather told me that. Could be true.
That's fascinating. I've actually never been to Australia. Are there indeed a lot of flies about?
Man, especially the cities aren't too bad, but when you go to the outback, your shirt will be literally covered black with flies eating the sweat from your shirt. It's really gross. But surprisingly, you get used to it very fast. But that first day or so, it's really not fun. Yeah.
Interesting. By the way, a little bonus word. A lot of my American friends and also American media loves to make fun of Canadians because of the way, apparently, we pronounce the word about.
About.
Yeah, that's what they say Canadians, they believe Canadians pronounce it about. About.
About.
About. How would you say the word about?
About. What are you talking about? About.
About.
Yeah.
Ow. Ow sound, right?
Now, yeah.
About. Maybe, again, the hosers way up north might pronounce it about.
About. Yeah.
What are you talking about, eh?
I kind of like that. I think it's goofy and fun. I like that.
About.
About.
I'm not sure I pronounce it that way. If I do, I hope you in the audience will point it out to me because
I've never
I'm
heard
not
it.
sure. About. I think I say about.
Definitely.
How about the word because?
In
Because.
Australia? Because, yeah.
Yeah. I think when we speak quickly, sometimes personally I might pronounce it because. Because if I'm going very quickly, but
Yeah. Like, I went home because I was feeling tired. Because
yeah, because.
we really
Yeah.
shortened it. Because.
But if I say the word individually or slowly, I would pronounce it because.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because it's rooted in the word cause,
Tuesday.
right? The cause. Tuesday. So we have fans of your pronunciation of Tuesday.
Ah, thank you. Who said that? Eunice. Thank you,
Tuesday.
Eunice.
Tuesday.
Where is Eunice? Where are you? You said you're in an Arab-speaking country. I think someone said that. So you have
I
an
believe-
audience all over the world, Paul.
Indeed, it's a great honor. I believe Jonas is in Morocco.
Oh, nice.
And I know Chris Derboven is in Belgium.
Yes, Chris. I know Chris from way back. Chris
Yeah,
was
she's one of our first viewers.
Yeah, one of my first customers, I think, for puppets. Yeah. Hi,
That's
Chris.
right.
Still there? Yeah.
And Lila is in an Arabic country, I believe KSA, Saudi Arabia. I'm not sure.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And
My
a few
dream-
other
I'd love
folks.
to go there. I'd love to visit the Middle East someday. It's on my list,
Yeah.
definitely.
It's I have to say, James, you've been with me several times on the show, and it's always great to have you with us. This idea that we're doing a show that, I mean, you can't see it, but this is just a little room in my house, in my apartment.
Oh, wow.
I don't even live in a house. I live in an apartment. This is just my little office. And the fact that, the idea that I'm streaming this live and you're my guest on this show and you're in Thailand and our audience is all over the world, for me, this is crazy. It's absolutely bananas.
Bananas. Okay.
It's just, it's incredible, right?
It is. It's very cool. I admit. See, Paul, you grew up. We're similar age, so this is
Yeah.
all amazing for us, right? We grew up with rotary phones and black and white TVs and stuff. So, yeah, I think it's amazing too.
It's incredible. It's like, for me, it's magic. Like, I know how to operate the cameras and the platforms, but I don't know how they work.
Well, I stopped understanding technology about 15 years ago. After then, it's like, wow, how does that work? Yeah.
Yep. For me, it's just the magic of engineering, and I'm just happy that I can use it to, first of all, meet new friends like you, and to share all this, share our passion for education and English and language and culture. Because in the end, what we're doing is we're sharing our cultures with each other. So
Yeah,
for me, that's just such a thrill.
It's fun, yeah.
It never, I guess what I'm saying is, and maybe this is a good message for Christmas season, it's never lost on me. I'm never not grateful for it. It's incredible to me that we do this and that we can do this.
And it's so easy, right?
It's so easy and so powerful, right? Oh, Chris has a message for you.
I saw that. Hello, Chrissy. No, it's Chris, not Chrissy. That's another thing Australians do. We put E on the end of names. We make
Yeah.
nicknames instantly. As soon as we meet you, hello, my name's Paul. Oh, g'day, Paul. We say g'day, like hello.
G'day.
And often we give girls or females nicknames. So, for example, Chris. Hi, my name's Chris. Oh, g'day, Chrissy. We'll just say that.
Chrissy.
It's a little. It sounds patronising, but it's not done in that way. It's just something we do. Yeah, we make little nicknames.
I think that's a really good point. A lot of people get offended by things like this because they think it's patronizing, but I think the intention, which can vary from culture to culture, I think that needs to be considered. If it's done with affection and respect and playfulness, it's the beauty of language. It's not meant to offend anybody. It's not meant to put anyone below you.
Yes.
Okay, let's go to the next one, Mr. Grumplesnoot.
Let's do. I like this.
Last three, final three. Let's see what we get.
The cruise. The cruise. Oh, okay. Mobile.
Mobile.
Well, we use the word mobile for cell phone or smartphone. We say mobile, and we've done that from day one with mobile phones. So we call, like an iPhone, we call that a mobile. We don't call that an iPhone. So we use this word a lot. Mobile.
Mobile.
How about you, Paul?
Yeah, we in Canada we tend not to call our phones mobiles, but we would definitely pronounce it mobile.
What do you say?
I think it's more
Phone?
cell phone, smartphone, device. I think device is a bit boring, but cell phones, smartphones. However, I do hear in Canada when people use the word mobile as an adjective, I do hear some people pronounce it mobile, like mobile phone, mobile class, mobile technology.
So they don't say the I, do they? They say mobile.
Yeah. When they use it as an adjective. Yeah, it's interesting. But I pronounce that mobile. Mobile.
Mobile.
Here's a question from Jonas.
His nose is a bit crooked. Do you notice that?
Yeah, maybe he needs cosmetic surgery in Korea. Maybe Mr. James can help him.
I think he needs just to maybe sit outside the box for a few days.
He's fresh out, right? He's just into the world.
Yes, brand new. Yep.
Thank you for joining us, Lila. She has to go.
Oh,
This is the challenge
3
with
a.m.
an international audience, right? 3 a.m.
Yeah. Bye-bye, Layla.
Lila, thank you for joining us. So do all Australians look like you, James?
Oh, no, I hope not. No, not really. We're pretty diverse. We're a multicultural country now, so It has been for many decades. So there's not really an average Australian, apart from the stereotypes. Yeah, we have all
Yeah.
sorts, all shapes, sizes. Yeah, but
The same with Canada.
I'm very pale, like British, because I don't go outside much. But most Australians are not as pale as me. They're darker skinned. Yeah.
And the same can be said of Canada. Canada's a multicultural place. Not everyone is a Caucasian European like I am.
Yeah.
That's an old stereotype of Canadians or Americans for that matter. Okay, we have 3 more. Or do we have 2 more?
2 more.
Last 2. Grumple Snoot, here we go.
Uh-oh.
Ah. Don't forget to take your vitamins.
Yeah, actually, we say vitamins too. Vitamin.
Vitamins.
Yeah.
Take vitamins to be healthy.
Yeah, vitamins, yeah, and vitamins in your food and fruit and vegetables. I
Yeah.
think some people say vitamins, but I've never heard that personally. Vitamins.
I think our British friends say vitamins.
Really? Okay.
I don't see any of our... There's a couple of friends from the UK who sometimes watch, but I don't think they're with us.
Lestari from Nepal. Wow. Hello.
Yes,
Lestari.
so Lestari is watching. She joined late. Yes, I'm from Canada, and Grumple Snoot and Mr. James are from Australia, although they're currently in Thailand.
G'day. G'day.
And we are comparing our accents. And we have one more word to try. So vitamins sounds the same.
Tomato, yeah.
And the winner is
Oh, my favorite.
tomato.
Oh, okay. We say tomato, but we say
Tomato.
D. Tomato.
Tomato.
Tomato, yeah. Oh, and we don't say ketchup. We say tomato sauce.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah,
Yeah,
ketchup.
tomato sauce. We don't say ketchup. It's starting to pick up. People are starting to say ketchup and fries, but we usually say tomato sauce and chips, hot chips. But we're slowly picking up the American words now.
Yeah, that's interesting. I would pronounce it ketchup, but I wouldn't call it tomato sauce because it's not made with tomatoes at all. It's made with a bunch of chemicals.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Personally, I never eat ketchup. If I have fries, I prefer mayonnaise.
Really?
Yeah, I love mayo on my fries,
Don't
not
you
ketchup.
weirdos eat poutine?
Well, occasionally.
Weirdos.
Poutine's a famous snack in Canada, made of French fries, beef gravy, and cheese curds on top. There's actually... Cheese curds are like little rubbery chunks of cheese that somehow come out of the cheese-making process.
Wow. It sounds bad,
Yeah.
but it tastes good. Yeah.
Tastes good, yeah. But it's not a staple of our diet. It's kind of like a snack you might have if you come in from skiing on the mountains, or if you're young and you're out at a nightclub and you're drinking a lot of beer,
It
you
sounds
might
like
have
a-
some...
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a snack. It's a drinking food.
Oh, yeah.
Every once in a while, if I'm cold, if I'm outside, I might try some. And we actually have a couple of shops here that sell different styles, like instead of gravy, they'll have curry sauce on top.
Oh, okay. So it's
Or
like
chili.
you can mix it up a bit.
I think what it started in the east of Canada, in Quebec, the French area. And I think it started because people would eat it as an outdoor snack when they're out in the winter skiing or skating.
Yeah.
And if you just get French fries, they get cold instantly.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I was
So
gonna
a
say,
hot sauce would keep it warm. So I think that's the origin of it. But
okay.
you can certainly find poutine in Canada, but it's not like something we eat. I maybe eat it once a year.
Oh, okay. Wow. So a special treat, not an everyday thing.
Yeah, it's a snack.
Okay.
Tomato.
Tomato sauce. Tomato.
Amazing. Well, folks, that is our accent
Excellent.
comparison. That's our accent comparison. And it seems like Grumple Snoot and I and Mr. James sounds like we share a lot of pronunciation.
Yeah.
Accent investigation.
We're pronunciation bros.
Yeah.
Pronunciation bros. Nice.
We're getting towards the end of the show, so I want to give our audience a chance to ask you any questions. Does anyone have questions for Grumple Snoot or Mr. James?
I've got some big news too, Paul. We're going to move puppets to Vietnam next year. We're going to open our own factory and start making puppets ourselves. So the quality is going to go. I mean, they're always been nice quality, but we're really going to be scaling things up. Oh,
That's fantastic. Congratulations. That's great news, James.
Exciting news back to Vietnam, and we've got a lot of big plans for next year. A lot of new puppets and all sorts of stuff.
Does that mean you're moving the operation yourself to Vietnam from Thailand?
Yes. Well, I originally wanted to move to Brisbane, but after I went through all the red tape and the costs, and I just can't do it yet. But someday I will, but not yet. Maybe 2 or 3 years from now, we'll move to Brisbane, Australia.
Wow, it's fantastic. Well, I'm glad to hear about the new factory. That's wherever you can do it. That's
You should come and
a
visit.
huge step.
Yeah, Darwin
I'd
is
love
beautiful.
to. I'd love to. Here's a good question from Jonas. How do you pronounce
Pajamas. PJs. We say PJs. Yeah,
PJs?
Yeah. Put your PJs on, get some water. It's time for bed. Drink some water.
Pajamas.
Yeah, pajamas.
Pajamas.
Yeah,
Pajamas.
pajamas. PJs.
And I believe that word is originally from India.
Really?
Yeah, it's not like an England word. I think it picked up in the colonial era.
Pajamas. Okay.
I believe it came from India.
Pajama.
Pajama.
The head
Pajama.
wobble. Do that. Thank you.
Mr. Jack says, thank you, great segment. Lovely.
Yeah,
we
we've
need
got
more
to check
Gumble.
out the A to Z English podcast. Well, I'll check you out after the show, Jack. Yeah.
Yeah, great podcast. Highly recommend it.
Is
He
it a
has,
video? A video podcast or audio?
I think it's audio only. Maybe Jack can clarify, but he does that with his students and his learners.
Oh, that's cool.
So they get a
Okay.
chance to practice their English. It's really, really good.
Oh, nice, like a performance almost, like they're on a show. That's very cool. Okay.
Yeah.
How can we learn?
How can we learn pronunciation?
Nice.
This is
Good
from
question.
Roni. And I believe Roni is in Bangladesh.
Okay. A dictionary by myself. Wow. I think you
Well,
need
Google.
to use more than one. But you'd have to use something to supplement the dictionary, right, Paul?
Yeah. I
Some
think
kind of
if you go to like Google Dictionary, it will give you the spelling and the definition, but there's a button you can press and you can listen to an audio sample of the pronunciation. I think so.
That's right.
But check that out, Roni. Google. The Google Dictionary. Okay, so Jack says it's audio only.
Okay, I was going to say maybe
But they're
Jack
working
needs
on
a
video.
Rumpelstiltskin for his show.
There you go. Jack is originally from the U.S., but he teaches in Korea.
Yeah,
Jack,
that's-
what age group do you teach? I think it's college students, right? Not children, but
The older ones.
everyone needs puppets.
Yeah. The world needs more puppets. This is a lot
I
of
think-
fun.
I think I mentioned to you one of my holiday rituals is watching the old Muppets movie, Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas.
Yeah.
It's
And there's
just a
one-
little.
It's brilliant, isn't it? Yeah, I love it too.
It's incredible. I
And
watch that
the
every year at
Muppets-
Christmas.
Muppets Christmas Carol is also really good, worth watching.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Michael Caine is really good in that.
Oh yeah.
Freshman
Freshman University. Yeah.
students. Nice. That's a whole different
Great.
ballgame, isn't it? I used to teach kindergarten and different skill set, but still great fun, right?
I think earlier in the show we had Anish Dea from Toronto, who runs the on-the-spot language program, and he also is the proud owner of a puppet. But I think he's it's late where he is, so he's gone off to sleep.
Okay.
Here we have. Jack says, I might try to puppet next semester. Great.
The students might like it. Some students who are shy, they open up with puppets. I've noticed, like really shy students, they'd be reluctant to talk to me, but they'd talk all day to a puppet, which is still me, but it's an avatar between me and the person. That was interesting. Yeah.
And Guy is pointing out you skipped my question. Okay, let's go back and find your question.
Wait, wait. You skipped my question. That's easy to do because there's so many.
Yeah. Well, they don't see that, right? They don't see, for example, on my screen, I get the questions from YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. I get all the questions here, so I apologize. It is easy to miss them.
It's actually a really good question because where does your name come from? His name is Grumple Snoot, and I'd already designed his character. I had it drawn up and I had the backstory, but I couldn't think of a name. So I actually asked ChatGPT. I said, "Hey, ChatGPT, here's the character. He's blue, furry, bushy eyebrows." I gave all the details and a great big orange nose. And ChatGPT had like 50 different names, and Grumple Snoot just clicked straight away. I just thought that was great. So
That is incredible.
I cheated a little bit. I used the AI to choose his name. The first time I've done that, yeah. Grumple Snoot. I like my name. Do you like my name?
I personally love it.
It's hard to say, and I couldn't remember it for like a week. I kept saying Grumble Snoot or Snoodle Grump, and I had to really practice remembering his name. So maybe next time it won't be so long, I think.
Let's see.
2 syllables only. Yeah, maybe just 2 syllables.
I love the name. I've been saying it all day.
I love your name, Paul.
My name's pretty simple. One syllable. Yeah.
Oh.
That's a good question.
Oh, I don't know. What do you think? I like my name. I don't care where it comes from. Oh, okay. All right. Made by AI. Well, I wanted to call him something like the 2 previous monsters were called Grunkle and Smooch, and they were a boy and a girl. The Grunkle was the boy, Smooch was the girl puppet. So I needed something similar to that, and he's very similar to the Grunkle puppet. So I just thought, grr, I'll try to keep that GR sound at the start. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Anybody else have questions for Grumple Snoot or James?
No. Okay. Let's see. Pajamas. Oh, pajamas. Yeah, look at that. The phonic. He typed it out phonically. That's very clever. Sorry. Pajamas. Yeah.
And that's if you can learn the phonetic alphabet, the dictionary gives you that spelling, and you can understand the pronunciation. But you have to learn the phonetic alphabet first.
That's really cool. Wow.
Yeah.
Pajamas.
That's one way to do it for sure.
Yep.
Anybody else have questions for James or Grumple Snoot?
Merry Christmas, everyone. Yeah, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Whether you celebrate Christmas or not, or Happy Holidays.
What are your plans for the holidays? Anything special, James?
Not really. I think I'll be working right through because we have a lot of puppets to make. And Thailand doesn't really do Christmas. So
Sure.
Yeah, it's not a big day here.
This is actually the last live stream of the year, so I'll be taking a vacation, and we'll be back in January, late January, mid to late January.
Have a good vacation. Have a good break.
Yeah, I'll be spending it in Japan.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You're going to Japan. That's very cool. Yeah, that's great. And you'll be there for New Year's, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Cool. Very nice.
Yeah, I usually go to Japan basically every year, but during the COVID period, Japan's border was closed even to me. Mm. Even though I am married to a Japanese wife, I couldn't come into the country. Yeah, so I haven't been there since 2020.
They were really strict, weren't they? And they had their lockdowns for a long time, more than other countries. Yeah.
Yeah, and I do understand it because, in Canada or maybe Australia, it's easy to get away from people. I can walk down my neighborhood and not see anybody. In Japan, it's impossible to avoid people. It's so crowded and so densely populated. An epidemic would just go right through them. So I understand their caution.
I didn't think of that. That's a good point. I was
Yeah.
wondering. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Well, have fun. Have a good trip in Japan.
Thank you, Grumplesnoot, and thank you for joining the show.
No problem. I'm going to go back to bed. Wow.
Yes,
Okay,
have a good nap.
back to your
And
little-
in a moment, we have a final message from Nic Darwin, who's going to give us another song.
Okay. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, James. Great to see you again, and have a happy holidays and New Year. I'm excited to see all the changes and developments in Puppets. All the
Yes, me
information is down below if they want to get in touch with you. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, James and Grumplesnoot.
Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
All right, cheers. Okay, everyone, that's the show. Thank you for joining us this evening. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for following Hard-Boiled English for the whole year. Thank you for all your great and fascinating grammar questions. I'll see you in a few weeks in January. So don't forget to please get in touch with me on social media, or where is it now? You can, I can't find it. You can go to my website, hardboiledenglish.com, and there you can find the link to all the live streams, because I will be moving off YouTube. So that's where you'll find us in the new year. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much, as always, for being part of our Hard-Boiled English live community. This is for you. I do this show for you. I'm happy and I'm honored and I'm proud to be a part of the community. I'm honored that I get a chance to reach you every week live across the world. And I'm glad we could spend this evening sharing some of my favorite people. So I'm going to say good night. I'm going to say Merry Christmas. I'm going to say Happy New Year now. And I'm going to let Nic Darwin send us out and wish us all a Merry Christmas. So until I see you again in January, stay healthy, keep learning English, and as always, folks, stay cool. Something's happening here. Bear with me, folks.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where the treetops glisten and children listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, with every Christmas card I write. May your days be merry and bright, and may all your Christmases be white. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where the treetops glisten and children listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, with every Christmas card I Christmases be white. May your days be merry and bright, and may all your Christmases be white.
Thanks for watching tonight's show. If you have an English grammar question, an English mystery, contact me on social media and send me a video of you asking the question. I'll investigate it on a future show. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell button to get all the updates about videos and events. If you're feeling generous, you can also donate to the production costs of the show at Patreon or buy me a coffee. Finally, until the next time I see you on Hard-Boiled English Live, I want you to keep learning English. Stay healthy and stay cool.